Okay, so hey, welcome to our parent meeting for our Eastlake students fall 2020-2021 ministry year COVID-19 edition 2.0. I am just pumped to be able to be with you on Facebook, to have some folks on Zoom, and have a couple people here in the room because it is important to me that I am able to communicate to you as parents everything we have going on in our ministry. Those of you joining us on Facebook that are not parents, we just want to say welcome, and you can help get the word out on everything we've got going on in our student ministry, because there is a lot going on. So basically, here's what I want to do. I want to pray for you. I want to talk to you a little bit about our what we're trying to accomplish this fall, about our fall programming, and making sure that every parent we can get the information to is aware of every program that we have available for your student, grade 6th grade through 12th grade. So let's do that. Let me pray for us all real quick. Dear Lord, I want to say thank you for this opportunity to communicate, Lord, what you are doing in our ministry. Lord, that we can just pause for a few minutes tonight and take a look at all the work that you are doing in the midst of our students, in the midst of our leaders, in the midst of our church, even in this difficult COVID season. So Lord, I just pray, Lord, that your word would be heard loudly in our ministry and all around as we strive, God, to equip these young people to know Jesus and to be able to live for him. God, we just are really grateful for the opportunity that we have right now to communicate that. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, friends, so you've probably picked up on a couple things, and I just want to hit on them real fast. We are calling our ministry Eastlake Students. That goes along with the idea of trying to simplify, obviously, and bring some standard to the names of our ministry. We have Eastlake Men's, we have Eastlake Women's. Why not have the same kind of name for our student ministry so that people can understand that and hear it? So when I refer to Eastlake Students, I'm referring to every ministry that exists for 6th graders through 12th graders. So that allows you as a parent to know, hey, you hear the word Eastlake Students. If you've got a 6th grader through a 12th grader, you go, bing, that's for us. So that you can hear that. If you look on our website, we just updated our website information under the student section for you as a parent to be able to clearly communicate with maybe a neighbor or a friend what it is we're all about. And so basically, here's what it would say. This is not our mission statement. Our mission statement and vision statement is always the same as what the church is doing. We just will add students into that. But we came up with some language that I think communicates what's going on in this particular season. And so you will find this language on the website. Encountering God and engaging our community together. That's kind of what that's what we're trying to do. And you'll see why those two words are so critical in just a minute. So we want your student to encounter God and engage their community. We want to do that together. Eastlake Student Ministry equips and empowers our middle school students to encounter God and engages our high school students so that they embrace their identity in Christ through in-person and virtual opportunities. You know, as we know, COVID has created this new environment where we need to be seriously considering the fact that we need to be in person, and we also need to understand the need to gather remotely because we have a remote campus now. So just like we have a Sunday morning online campus, we're going to have an online campus, so to speak, in our student ministry as well. And so as we look to the fall, we considered a lot of factors in what we could and couldn't do and what we should and shouldn't do in order to engage your amazing young people and engage you as parents. And we sent out a survey, and we received back about, I think it was 80 when we were all said and done, from different families within our church. And we learned some things that we already knew, but we had them solidified. So basically what you told us is that almost 90% of you prefer that we not gather in groups that are larger than 20 people when we're gathering for midweek type programming. And so we took that into account as we made a plan. You also told us that you were looking for Bible studies and affinity group type things, and you as parents were looking for parenting resources. So you're going to hear that we've incorporated all of that in our plan. A lot of it was already in the works, but we've been able to add to it and beef it up once we heard back from you as parents and family members. And so here's the way our ministry is going to break down starting on September 13th. It's kind of started there right now, but that's the official launch date for us going back into Eastlake Student Ministry in the traditional sense. But let me pause and remind you, we've never stopped. We've got a YouTube page. We've been putting out videos with teaching on it. We've been sending out emails, trying to keep all of the families informed. We've done Zoom links throughout the spring and throughout the summer. We've had a Gracism and a Rooted group that both have finished. The Gracism group finishes this week. So we've had lots of opportunities for students to engage. It just has looked very different. Obviously, all of our summer trips were postponed, canceled, all of that, but we've still been going. But this is kind of the new step forward into the next level of going again. And so here's what you're going to see. On the 13th at 11 o'clock in the morning, during our second service, we're going to launch our new 6th and 7th and 8th grade ministry called Encounter. Encounter exists solely for the fact of trying to help your junior high, middle schooler encounter Christ and build relationships with other like-minded, like-age individuals. So we'll have some adults in there. Some of you are on this. I see you on the Zoom call that are going to be helping me with that. We have some high school students that are going to join us, helping us mentor these younger students. But I am very excited about this because I firmly believe that a 6th grader is in a vastly different place than a 12th grader. And a 7th grader is even in a vastly different place. And so this is a program that I have run before. We've modified it and taken Eastlake into account in how we're going to roll it out. And I think it's going to be an amazing step forward for us in our ministry because we will have a chance to meet each Sunday morning. And you'll hear about the virtual option for this in a minute. Each Sunday morning at 11 o'clock in our new Encounter room with 6th and 7th graders primarily this year, because 8th graders who have already joined our Wednesday night group, after they're already established, we're going to allow them and welcome them to continue with our high school group. So primarily be 6th and 7th graders, 8th graders will be welcome. And we will do, using the orange curriculum in there, and we're using the idea that if we can give a 7th grader or a 6th grader one truth about Jesus and one application point on a given week, that is a solid win. And so we will have lessons that are geared at that kind of, you remember when you were in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, you didn't want to listen to anybody. So we're not going to have a really long lesson. We're going to have a targeted lesson with an intentionality attached to it. That'll be fun and creative and have some videos and all that kind of cool stuff that Orange provides for us. Every other week, right now, it looks like I think we're going to go with the 2nd and 4th Sundays. I'm doing this so that we can do it on the first week that we launch. I am going to host virtually at 6:30 that on Sunday nights about a 45-minute middle school Zoom opportunity that we'll teach the same lessons. We'll do 2 points because we're going to not do it every week just because of some other vagaries of scheduling, and 2 points and 2 main lesson points. And we'll have some fun games that they can play online. Parents can obviously help get them on and join us there. And it'll be about 45 minutes long, and we'll be able to laugh and have fun. And they can just kind of have a connection point if they're not able to come into the building. So that's our middle school ministry. We're calling that Encounter, again, because we want them to encounter so much about who they are, who Jesus is. And a lot of times at that age, you're encountering your faith for the first time. And so we want to make sure we acknowledge that along the way. So now we get to what you would consider the Wednesday night programming. So for years, we've had an amazing Wednesday night program here at Eastlake. It has been known by various things. Most recently, it's been called Current. And I am just so blessed by the foundation of amazing students that we've had to work with over the last 2 years, and we've watched them grow and develop into leaders. And so we are launching our high school ministry, that same week. And we're going to call it Engage now. So our high school ministry is called Engage. It is not just a one night a week thing. So when we say Engage, we're not just talking about Wednesday. So there'll be a Wednesday night Engage component. We'll actually have a Rooted group that will start on the 13th for students that is part of our Engage ministry virtually in the evenings with the Archers teaching that class. Be super awesome, exciting stuff. We will also have a Thursday night Gracism class that I am going to teach alongside several others that will be a virtual option as well, so that we have those opportunities to engage students outside of the things I'm going to explain in a second that have some in-person components to them. Also on Thursday night, I just learned today, we're going to have another hybrid study that one of our leaders is going to lead on a book called More Than a Carpenter, and that will allow students, a certain number of students to gather in the building that would like to, and others to join him remotely. So I'm going to help him get all set up with the camera, and he's going to teach that, and he's going to do that both virtually and in person. So that opens that door for so many other students. So on Wednesday nights, Here we go. A lot of stuff. I'm trying to breathe. Everybody's with me? I see you there. I see you there. I see you there. I see you there. Okay. On Wednesday nights, because we can't gather in a large group, it really is important to me to have opportunities to engage students on a night that they're used to, if that's what works for them. And so I'm not going to list them all off, but I'm going to give you a couple of highlights. We're going to have various activities for our students in 9th through 12th, 8th through 12th this year, that were going to happen right here in the building I'm standing in. Okay, some of them will be hybrid component to them as well. So we have an all-girls study being led by Lindsay Amburn. We have an all-guys study being led by Derek Weisner. We have an affinity group that we're going to start up where they're going to do some video gaming, where we're going to have them bring their own video games in, their own video game systems, which we're going to preview and look at, but give them a chance to own that with some adult supervision, but also allow them to have some fun and laugh and do some just good stuff. Our worship team is going to meet on a regular basis right here in the Engage room to just jam out together. So we'll have keyboardists and drummers and all that, just to kind of keep us fresh for when the time comes that we're able to say, all right, now let's put 50, 60 people back in the room and let's go for it. So we're going to be spreading these people, these students out in the different rooms. They're going to have to register online for the courses they want to be in so that we know who's coming. So we're going to be pushing this really hard for the next 2 weeks. Get registered, get registered. We'll register some folks that first night that we meet that maybe missed the memo or maybe need some help getting that done. There's no cost to any of the studies outside of Rooted and a small cost associated with racism. Everything else is material that we've brought in. It's free to us that we're going to be able to provide for them to be a part of. And the whole goal is to provide as much normal, quote unquote, remember there's no old normal anymore, it's our new normal, as much normal connection point as we can in a world where it's going to be impossible to have what we used to have for at least the foreseeable future. And so again, here's what we're trying to do. We want to engage them in their faith, and we want them to engage their friends with the power of the gospel. And they're going to do that through small groups, affinity groups, Bible studies, and all kinds of other opportunities. We are looking at some creative, fun, social distance activities throughout the fall that we'll begin to be able to launch for both groups, for both Encounter and Engage, that will allow us to have them bring their friends in, be able to have some fun, and probably be outside and do some of those things. I'm hoping to have at least a worship experience for them by the mid to late fall, where we could even do it outside. We can bring our whole sound system out there that exists here in the Engage room and provide an outdoor worship experience. But we're going to hold off on that until probably about October, when it gets cool enough so that we're not all melting out there and the weather's holding fast. So there it is. I mean, that's our main plan right now. All of the information on how to sign someone up is easily available at eastlakeonline.com events, the /events page. In there are a variety of different options that you can see are available for your student, and no matter what age they are. Remembering that the 6th and 7th graders are primarily going to be the Sunday morning and Sunday night option until we're able to start getting some of those bigger gatherings together to bring them in on a Saturday or Sunday afternoon or something like that to have a big event. But we're going to be nailing that. So take a deep breath. And parenting. One of the things that I would really encourage all of you that are married to do is come to our marriage night, coming up on not the 12th of September, but the 19th. It originally airs on the 12th, but we are recording and kind of doing a time delay, showing it on the 19th. I am also currently working on some ideas that will be unveiled after we get through our first 4 weeks of programming, just to get used to our new normal, where I'm hoping to offer some parenting groups, probably online or hybrid on a different night of the week, where we can engage you in parenting skills, in how to pray with your children, all of those kind of really cool things. And that will be coming. I just don't know exactly when. My goal is to launch it before Thanksgiving. If stuff gets crazy, be looking forward to it in the new year. But we are certainly looking at some of that stuff right now too. So there you go. That's it. I can just turn off the microphone. I can walk out the door and I can go home because you got all the information I can possibly give you right now. Oh, let me remind you one thing. Our YouTube page is going to be very active even as we start this new season. So if you are a virtual student, if your student is in high school or junior high, it doesn't matter. Our YouTube page has got 22 weeks worth of videos right now, about every other week. So you got about 13 or 14 videos out there if they haven't seen any of them. Those are totally appropriate for a middle schooler and a high schooler. Okay. We're going to have some very targeted videos that we're going to produce through Orange for our middle schoolers that we're going to give you links to, and you'll have availability through our website and other places. And we're also going to continue to drop high school specific material connected to some of the things that are happening in our small groups on our YouTube page that we already have for our Eastlake students. So be watching those. If you haven't watched them, go back and watch them. Encourage your student to watch them, all that kind of crazy stuff. So yeah, there you have it. That's the lowdown. That's the whole thing I got for you. My hope is that you will see this at home as a parent and you will know 3 key things. We start on the 13th. Okay, that's the big launch day. That's when we start Encounter. That's when our first high school group starts that evening at 7:30 with the Rooted group. But that whole week is full of launches. So that Wednesday night programming and all those things. Number 2, that you will know that help your student understand that we need them to register for what they're going to do. Again, we can help them do that if they're coming into the building or if they call us, but we are limiting the size of these groups. The largest group we're going to have will probably be the gaming affinity group and the worship group, and we're not going to allow those to be up over 20. So we're targeting 15 to 18 for those, with the adults being around as well. So help them know to sign up for that. And number 3, help us get the word out. You know, I would love to live in a world where my screen is just full of parents' faces, and I'm so appreciative of all of you that are here. But, you know, I was telling Jacob, I'm going to set this room up for 50 people because I want to make sure that we're getting the word out to folks. And I will always set this room up for 50 people, because what I want is I want to help you be the pastor that you're called to be by helping put the information in your hand so that you know exactly what's going on, and you know exactly how to help your students succeed in their walk with Jesus, remembering that we are so on your team. You know, our Eastlake Student Ministry team, which is made up of amazing leaders and students,